Life speaks. It speaks through struggles and success, through music and messages, the preconceived and the unexpected. Whether you are in the depths of the valley or in the midst of your mountaintop experience, everyone needs to be encouraged from time to time. You've tuned in to ALH Broadcasting, and this is Andrea L. Hines, your host for When Life Speaks. I'm glad you accepted the invitation to connect with us as we share stories of strength, testimonies of triumph, observations, and information meant to touch the heart and uplift the soul. There's something in this broadcast just for you, and if it's a blessing to your life, it just may be for someone else as well. So tag, share, invite someone, then turn down the volume of life and get ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to When Life Speaks. You've tuned into ALH Broadcasting. Let me see if I can do something with this light here. I don't know that did any better, but you know I always have lighting problems. So we're going to see what we can do tonight and see if we can fix it at all. And if not, that's perfectly okay, because we know how to keep it pushing and keep it moving, right? And that is wonderful, wonderful. Nakayana, good evening to you. Sometimes I'm saying good morning, but thank you for coming tonight. Lynette, thank you for coming as well and being a part of When Life Speaks. And Dr. Paula Obi, we appreciate you being with us this evening as well. I welcome everyone. For those of you who may not know, I am your host, Andrea L. Hines, and we are here every Thursday evening at 7 p.m. And this is the last day of the celebration of Black History Month. We've had a lot of things going on, and this month we decided to focus on three areas. We decided to focus on support, how we can support one another. We talked about celebration, how we are celebrating one another. And tonight we are going to talk about service and servanthood, how to be good servants. Yes, that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And I called it the ABCs of servanthood, and I'm going to tell you why. But first off, we're going to look at how can we support? What's going on that we can support? And I know I've been talking about Pastor Kelvin's mentorship project. We've talked about conferences coming up, but today it is Bibles. Let me see if I got my paper right here. Sisters Who Care, North Carolina, in partnership with The Way Global Ministries, will be collecting new and gently used Bibles. So if you know of anybody in the Raleigh-Durham area, if you want to make a donation so that we can purchase a Bible on your behalf, these Bibles are going to go to Kenya and Uganda. You may not be able to physically go, but you can surely send the word. So that is the project that is on the table right now. Hey, Bernice, good evening to you. And we're going to try to make that happen. We are looking to partner with them and get 100 Bibles. And you know what? We can do it. We can do it. We have the resources to do it. We have the heart to do it, and we can get it done. So I'm going to be talking about that in the next couple of weeks. The drive starts actually tomorrow and goes through the 20th of March. So you have plenty of time. If you want more information about that, feel free to contact me at speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. That's speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com. Now, this is kind of an E2 segment, an evening of encouragement segment, but I want to first kind of read to you our foundational verse. This is the verse that we've really been working through and working from during this month. And I just want to go ahead and read it again. This is the last time you're going to hear it for a long time. I don't know when I'll read it another time, but it's all about history. And it says, each day You have the opportunity to remember those present and past who've made an impact on your life. Their contributions will outlast the material things you have right now, for generations are coming still with gifts and talents, treasures untapped, and prophetic words to fulfill. Sometimes, by the least likely, the person you might overlook could be the next heralded statesman or pen the next best selling book. You can't judge by gender, race, stature, color, or creed. When God decides to use someone, he'll use whomever he needs. I guess we're all famous in our own right, though at times we may forget the greatest deeds have not yet been done, nor the greatest words spoken yet. One more thing to keep in mind: almost everywhere you go, there's a difference maker God is using whose name you may not know. There's more in store for each of us as you travel along your way. Don't take one person for granted, because history is made every day. And that's kind of been our reminder verse throughout this month, because there's so many people who do wonderful things, wonderful things. And that's why we have the segment, The Power of One, because that's all it takes sometimes. We think that we need a lot of resources or we need a great big team behind us, and that's not it. Sometimes you may have one or two people in your circle of influence, and that may be all you need to get started. And sometimes it's just you and Jesus. But you know what? If that's what he wants to do, that is what he will do. And we just have to be willing and available. Hey there, Angie. Oh, our South Carolina connection is on the line, and Miss Linda is on the line as well. Good evening, ladies. Thank you so much for being with me. So we've been talking about support, and I told you about our new project that we're partnering with in order to get those 100 Bibles. We're going to get those 100 Bibles. I know that we are. But we've been doing some other things. We started out the month talking about support. And that's what all of this has been about. We found some organizations, some individuals who are doing good work in their community. And we encourage you, wherever you are, if you're not in the Raleigh, Durham area, to seek out those individuals in your community where you are, who may be doing good things that you can partner with them on and be able to participate. One thing, or three things I should say, that stood out to us when we were having our discussion about support were what does support do? Because we talked about the fact that everything that we do is not about us. It's not about us. And when we got started on all of this, because we were talking about being difference makers and how we can make a difference in the area around us and in lives that we touch. And in talking about how we could better support projects and people, three things stood out to us. One was it will enlarge your sphere of influence, because we always talk about your influence, the influence that you have in the group that surrounds you. So it enlarges your sphere of influence. You become a resource because of the people that you are meeting and the people that you're reaching out to, and being able to share information and share what is happening in their area, and you can share what is happening in yours, and to expand your knowledge of cultures, community, and concerns, which always help us to relate to one another on a higher level. So those were the things we talked about during support. Now, when we talked about celebrating, we reached out and we had people celebrating everything from nurses to educators and to family members, people that have made a difference in your life. And I think that's why that verse has been our foundational verse, because we don't always know who these people are. if we don't celebrate them on platforms like this, they may go without ever having to know their name or know what it is that they're doing, or being able to partner with them on different projects and different things that they may have going on. And we always say, I want to be a blessing. I want to be a blessing. I want to be make a difference. And sometimes we are the change that we want to see. So when we have an opportunity to support these things, and I think we will. I think we're going to do that. And if you're somebody who can uh what do I want to say, who is able to support this 100 Bible project, and you think you might be able to do it, just put in the comment section, I can. Just put I can. Either a new Bible, gently used Bible, or if you want to support financially, we can get you information to do that as well. Hey, Francina, good evening. Glad to have you. We're talking about gathering 100 Bibles to send over to Uganda and to Kenya. So Bernice says she can. Linda says she can. Well, put your name down, lady, so that I can give you more information. That's Bernice and Linda and Nakayeta. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And if anybody else wants to, and they feel like they want to, or they have somebody that they want to, if you know somebody that you think would be interested in helping to support this project, um, share this broadcast so they will know all about it. Linda, I don't know which one of you came on first, but Angie did say that she could support as well. I think Linda was answering for you, Angie. I'm not sure, so I'm gonna stay out of that. But I appreciate it. I do appreciate it, and I know they will as well. So talk it up. You have a circle of influence. That's what I was trying to say before. You have a circle of influence. These are the times you want to tap into that circle. You got a girlfriend, you got your home girl, you got your buddy. Just tell them, we're gonna send some Bibles. We're gonna send the word over to Uganda and over to Kenya. So help me do that. So I'll be getting you more information starting with our program next week. And I may even post something online. So just be on the lookout for it. And Francina, is that you? Yes, 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 yes. Francina said she can. Thank you so much, so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. Okay, now tonight we are going to talk about the ABCs of servanthood. And let me tell you why I ended up calling this segment that. I reached out. I reached out to not only the village, but I reached out to the 8 family and said, you know what? We're going to be talking about servanthood. Tell me, what do you think is necessary in order for you to serve well? In order for you to be a good servant. Mark 10:49 says, the Son of Man came not to be served, but to serve. Not to be served, but to serve. So we should always have it on our mind to serve. But how do we do it well? I want to serve. I don't want to just do something to be doing it. I want to serve well. So I asked them, what do you think we need? What do you think you need in order to serve well, in order for your servanthood to be on point? And let me tell you, the village and the 8 family came through. And I had so many things. I couldn't use all of the words and all of the things that they gave me, but I'm going to read them to you tonight. I'm going to read what some of the individuals said that participated in this. And if you listen carefully, you will find they are all relative. They are all relative and they are interwoven. So listen carefully. If you are someone who takes notes electronically, takes notes on your phone, however you do it, however you want to do it, there's some good nuggets here. And there's some things that may cause you to think a little differently about some of the things that you do or how you do them. So we're going to serve. We're going to serve. That was the other question. Are you ready to serve? Are you ready? Are you ready to serve? Do you embody some of these qualities and some of these things that were given to us? And I mean the things were coming in, the characteristics were coming in, one right after the other, one right after the other. Very few duplicates. That was what was so interesting. Very few duplicates, but all of the wise counsel, wise nuggets, and things that we need to think about if we are going to be effective as servants. So let me go ahead and get started, because you know our E2 shows are short shows usually, so I don't want to keep you long, but I want to make sure that gets in. Um, A, attitude and being attentive. You're going to be a good servant. You got to have the right attitude. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to what is going on, because I'm going to tell you these things and I want you to think about them as we're going through this little alphabet exercise. When you talk about serving, are you serving to be a solution to a problem? Are you serving so that you can meet some kind of need for someone? Have you prayed about it? And prayer is on this list. But have you prayed about it first before you even got into it? Not in the midst of it, but before you even got into it. Did you partner with someone? Are you partnering with someone? Because some of these things in the alphabet will be geared towards group things that are happening. So, are you partnering with someone? Are you recreating something that is already being done? Are you recreating something that is already being done? So okay, so we got to have the right attitude. We got to pay attention. We got to pay attention. Um, we have to understand balance, and we have to understand boundaries. We may want to help in certain situations, or we may want to help certain individuals, but sometimes people don't want to be helped in the way that you want to help them. So you have to understand the area, you have to understand the environment that you're going into. You've got to have balance for yourself, because you don't want to step out there and be in a posture where you are doing so many things that you're not doing them well, or that you become overwhelmed with trying to do things that you're not then able to meet your goal or meet your deadline or get them done on time or whatever. So you got to understand balance, and you got to understand boundaries. C, compassion and commitment. I say all the time, you know, yes with the wrong attitude is a no in disguise. Be committed. Be committed. It's okay if you can't do it. It's okay if you can't do it. And it's better not to do it, or not to say that you're going to do it and then not be able to commit to it. I know a lot of times I talk to people who do ministry in nursing homes, and they say one of the reasons that people are not always receptive is because organizations and individuals will come out, usually Thanksgiving, usually Christmas time, and then they don't see them anymore. And so if you're going to make a commitment to be there, you're going to make a commitment to help. People are depending on you to do what you said you're going to do. So make sure that you make a commitment that you can keep, and have some compassion. Have compassion for the people that you are trying to help. The D, I'll tell you what they had for the D, was dedication, which we all understand that goes along with commitment, and discernment. Discernment. Know what you're getting yourself into. Let yourself be guided. Be guided by God. Be guided by God. Interestingly, that's not one of our G's, but that's what you got to do. Let your discernment go to work. Everything that you think you want to do is not an assignment for you to do. So be careful of that. Have some empathy. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes sometimes. Have some empathy. And above all, emulate Christ. Love like he loved. Love like he loved. Get into that First Corinthians 13 in the Message Bible. That'll show you exactly what to do in order to have empathy. Put yourself in somebody else's shoes. You don't know what people have been through. You don't know what they're going through right now. And sometimes when you're trying to be a good servant and you're trying to serve other people, you think everybody is going to want to do what you want to do, and that's not true. And it doesn't mean that they don't want to. Sometimes they are not able to. So when you put yourself in somebody else's shoes, if somebody else doesn't want to walk with you, it's okay. You can show empathy for them as well as the person that you want to help. Flexibility. Flexibility came through 2 or 3 times. I don't need to say anything else about it. I think you know exactly why that is important when you are serving. The G that we had actually was grace. Was grace. Show people grace while you're serving. Show them grace. Humility. Humility. Hear the Holy Spirit. Hear the Holy Spirit and have a clean heart. That's what somebody else had said, have a clean heart. The I was integrity. Always, whatever you do, have integrity while you are doing it and be intentional. It's got to be important. It's got to mean something to you. It has got to be something that you put at the top of your list. If you're going to do it, you may have to shift some priorities around to get it done. But if you do, be intentional about it and be sure that you have integrity. And that integrity is the doing what you say, doing it when you say you're going to do it, and making sure that it is important to you. People know and they understand. J is a judgment free. Don't go in serving people, making judgments on why they may be in the situation that they're in. You do not know. We make judgments when we see homeless people on the street. Oh, he doesn't even want to work. Oh, he could do something with his life. Oh, you have no idea. You have no idea what the individual is going through, has been through, or may be facing. Judgment free. You're going to serve judgment free. Uh, K, kindness. Show people kindness. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you anything. And this is something that, when you're in the grocery store, when you're shopping, especially, it seems that the worst in people comes out sometimes, especially when we're talking about customer service and things like that. Just be kind. If you are in a service industry job, be kind. If you don't like people, find you another job, please. Please. I'm going to say it one more time. Please don't be unkind to people. You don't have to be. It doesn't take but a moment to say thank you. It doesn't take but a moment to say please. It doesn't take you but a moment to even put a smile on your face and show somebody that you care, that you are intentional about whatever it is that you are doing for them. Hey, Pastor Calvin. Good evening, sir. Glad to have you in the house this evening. Let's see what. Love. Ooh, now these I had to separate these and put them down. Love, of course. Listen and lead effectively. Lead effectively. If you're going to do something that has to do with collaborating with other people, if you are doing something that is more than you're working with a team or whatever, lead effectively. Make sure that you're communicating carefully and clearly. Make sure that people understand exactly why you're doing what you are doing, the importance of it, the timing of it, whatever it is that people need to know. But if you're going to do it in a group, it's more than you, or even if you are coming into a situation where where leadership is necessary. Now, if you're doing a solo thing, doesn't mean that. But when you are working with people to accomplish a goal, got to make sure that you're leading effectively. Help the leader. Help the leader. Don't work against one another when you're trying to serve someone else. Come together. If you're going to collaborate, collaborate. If you're going to be kind, be kind. Okay? Um, M, have a made up mind. Have a made up mind. Be sure this is what you want to do. Don't let anybody talk you into something that is not on your heart to do. Don't let anybody make you feel badly if you say, nope, I can't do it right now. I can't have it. Pray for them. Pray for them and thank them anyway and tell them maybe next time. Can't do it this time. Maybe you can do it next time. But if you're going to do it, have a made up mind that this is what I'm going to do. Don't let anybody take you off of that path. And yeah, life will happen. Yes, circumstances will happen. Yes, things will go on where you may have to change. Flexibility may be the order of the day. But sometimes we jump in too quickly. Sometimes we say we're going to do something before we have thought about it and thought it through or prayed about it. Be sure that that's not your lot. Have a made up mind whenever you decide to serve. And here was an interesting one, but one that I think is very valuable. And that was to be able to negotiate. To be able to negotiate. We have a tendency to want to do for people what we want to do for people. We have a tendency to want to support the way that we want to support. But the reality of it is there are some things that have already been negotiated, already been discussed, already been decided. And the end result is we are going to do A, B, and C. So don't come in with D, E, F, and G. Mm-mm. Understand the art of negotiating. Understand that somebody, if you're in a group setting, if you're in a team setting, has already gone through and done the legwork and is looking at things from the perspective that is going to give the greatest outcome that can possibly happen. So learn about negotiating. You don't want to serve like this. You don't want to butt heads at every turn and every corner. No, collaboration should be a joy, especially when you're serving others. Okay. Obedience, of course, we don't need to talk about obedience. We understand that perfectly. And have patience. Timing may change. Timing may change, and that takes us back to that flexibility. Sometimes you got to negotiate something a different way in order to make it happen, but you got to pray. You got to have a prayer life. If you're going to be a servant, you got to have a prayer life. You have to be talking to God and allow God to talk to you. Allow yourself to pay attention. Pay attention to the nudging of the Holy Spirit when you're going out to do work for the Lord. Okay, now Q, quiet. You got to know how to get quiet. You have to know how to get quiet because God is talking all the time. And when there are things that are happening that you may not know and may not understand, you got to be sensitive to the subtle suggestions of the Spirit. And you have got to be able to be still and get quiet and hear what it is God is saying and what he is telling you to do. And as long as you're doing that, you're going to be serving well. You're going to be serving well. So know how to get quiet and know how to respect not only the people that you serve, but the process through which you're doing it. Respect is very, very important. Okay, let me see. Be sincere. People can see fake coming a mile away, and you don't want that. Serve from your heart. Be sincere about what you're doing. And as I said before, if it's not for you, don't. It's okay. It's okay. There's somebody out there looking for an opportunity to do what you've been given an opportunity to do. And if you can't do it, it's all right. It's all right. We just don't want to do something. We don't want to do it well. We want to do it in a way that would be pleasing to the Lord and the individual that you're trying to help. Okay, trustworthy. Pure and simple. You guys got that? You know what that is? To be unselfish and understanding. Unselfish and understanding. Doesn't matter how you used to do it. Doesn't matter how you've had it before. Doesn't matter about how you think it ought to be done. Be understanding and be unselfish. Let me tell you, these seem like minute things, but if you look at all of these things, all of these characteristics, all of the information that was shared in this exercise and for this program, they are vital. They are so important if you want to serve well. If you want to serve well. Okay, let's see. Vision. Somebody mentioned vision. You got to have a clear vision of what you're going to do, and you need to be able to communicate that clear vision to all who are involved. Willingness, of course, is absolutely essential. And of course, I use poetic license here with the X because I made the word excellence. That's what I decided to do. Do it in excellence, whatever you're doing. Don't think that you can do it halfway. Good enough is never good enough. Mm-mm. Rise to the occasion. If you're going to do it in excellence so that you can sign your work. You can be proud of the things that you've done, and you're representing Christ in everything that you do. So you want to have a spirit of excellence when you do it. Yield to whatever the final decision is in terms of what you're doing and the process to get it done when you are in a situation where you are serving, particularly in a group. There are guidelines, there are protocols, there are things that need to happen. Now, if you are just going out and you decide that you want to give blankets to the homeless, hey, this may not apply. But if you are giving blankets to the homeless through an organization who is working with a greater organization in order to get it done, there may be processes and things that have already been in place. Could be the size of the blanket, could be where you give the blanket, could be, again, not this. Yield to whatever the process and the protocol is so that you can serve that population effectively. And the last thing is the Z. And I I didn't have anybody give me anything for it. However, when you are serving, don't be overzealous. We can get so excited about what we are doing that sometimes we step on our own toes and we step on the toes of the people that we are trying to help. So don't get so excited that you start getting full of yourself and full of your project and full of your program. And again, you end up doing things that end up being a hindrance to the person that you are trying to help rather than assisting them and being the solution to what it is that they need. Was that good? I thought this was good tonight. I thought it was good, and I appreciate. And some of the night shift is on the line tonight, and some of those who are with 8 at 8 are on the line as well. Bernice and Nikayata, Angie, thank you all. I thank you all for giving me what you felt was important in order to be a good servant, in order to serve well. And I want to tell you one other thing. I'm going to close with this one last thing. Um, I wrote a poem years, and when I say years ago, it was definitely years ago. And I'm going to have the doctor on the program at some point in time, just trying to get her schedule straight. Her name is Dr. Carol Mussenden, and she recently had a retirement party, and she read this poem that I had written, like I said, many years ago. And she said she has read it. She read it every day. Now, I'm telling you about that just to say, when you're praying, when God is speaking to you, when he gives you something to do, whatever it is, do it. Whatever God is speaking to you about, Whatever He is guiding you to do, whatever He tells you to support, whomever He tells you to serve, whomever He tells you to celebrate, do it. Because there is a plan way beyond whatever you might be thinking. I've worked for a home care agency, and every holiday and every nurse's day and things like that, my boss would ask me to write something for the nurses, write something to the nurses. Well, I did that, and I gave it to a nurse who gave it to this doctor who used it for her retirement party uh, not many months ago. But here's the thing. It was, I think she had between 600 and 700 guests. And she has kept this poem for over 20 years. There is no way I could have predicted that that's what would happen with that little poem. You never ever know what plan God has for whatever it is He has assigned your hands to do. So be sure that you support, be sure that you celebrate, and be sure that you serve. Interestingly enough, the name of the poem was A Servant's Heart. And it says, God, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to be the servant you intended me to be. Thank you for someone who needs me today, for allowing me time to show kindness and pray. Let me be gentle and show the same love that you shower me with each day from above. Thank you for choosing me just to be there, to be your example, to serve and to care. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That is it for tonight, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed tonight's segment, and I hope you will share it with somebody. And I thank you. I'm telling you, the things that the village and those who participated gave to me, and I was just looking at them, and I thought, all of these things, they intertwine. They intertwine somehow. And but at the end, it's about doing what God asked you to do, doing it with the right heart, the right attitude, being there for someone else, and just being able to support, to celebrate. Whew, and the greatest one is to serve. Thank you, guys. We'll do a replay of this at noon on Saturday. So if you don't want to scroll back through and you can't share, just encourage somebody to tune into ALH Broadcasting on Saturday at noon so that they can hear this, or if there's a part that you missed, or one of the characteristics that you missed that you want to go back and check out again, be sure to go ahead and do that. Next month is Women's History Month. I think we have we got a guest, and he wants to celebrate the women in his family. He wants to talk about the women in his family. So we're going to do that. We are not looking for we can go to the history books. We can go to the history books and find somebody. But there are people in your family, and there are people in your circle that have been just monumental in the impact that they have made in your life. We want to talk about those people. Those are people we want to talk about. And I do have a guest that's coming in next month. Got a lot going on. And I tell you what, I thank God for orchestrating every single bit of it. So I thank you for being here tonight. I pray that you will come back next week, that you will be back with us and see what we've got going on. Don't forget about the Bibles. Don't forget about the Bibles. You came in late, you're not sure what I'm talking about, send me a note. It's speaklifewithandrea@gmail.com, and I'll tell you all about it. Until next week, remember, come on back and turn down the volume of life. And when you do, you'll be ready to receive, so that when life speaks, you'll speak life. Good night, everybody. See you next week.